Far up. Yeah. I'm on it now.
Oh,
Let me
I'll just let you reel off a few.
Don't look at me when I do this. I feel ashamed.
Okay. I'll look straight into the camera, and then you just keep on going.
No, I'm not doing this right now. I'm gonna do it randomly through the podcast.
Okay. Vibes.
Vibes. Yeah, I like that. I think we'll stick with something like that.
Okay.
And I'll randomly be saying that like as we go through. We got tangents and trivia. It's TNT, baby. A quest for vibes.
We came up with loads, didn't we? When we first initiated the conversation about doing a podcast, you remember we wrote down some absolute.
But that's the creative process, mate. It funnels all into like one idea, and I always say to people like, no idea is crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even if you're not going to use it, you get inspiration to an extent from something, and that's put you so much closer to your final idea.
You have to learn from your mistakes. So coming up with, making 10 shit names. If you didn't write those down and then go, no, they're not good enough, then you're just going to have those sat on your head for ages, and you're not going to be able to think of the next best thing.
For sure.
It's the same as making music, or like even I suppose with modelling. Like you end up taking about 10 photos, and then you go, actually, one of them's good.
Yeah. Well, you
make 10 songs, and I'll be like, they're all naff, and then maybe I'll come back to it 2 years later and I go, actually, I hear a sound that I've used in that, or a few chords that I've put together or something. That's actually the good part. I can take that and use it for something else.
No, I respect that. No, I rate that as well. And I think, it kind of hit the nail on the head, especially with like modelling as well. Is like I make some of my concepts. So some of the stuff that I've got published, people have contacted me and been like, I want to shoot with you. And I've been like, okay, so like, what are you bringing to the table? Because I'm not trying to act too bougie, but there comes a level, and I'm guessing even with what you do, there comes a level where you doing work for free or trading your time for nothing, it doesn't benefit you no more. So at one point, you need to work with artists that are going to get your name out there in circles that you need your name to be in, and you might offer your services at a cheaper price, or may not even offer any prices at all. Just want to work with that person in particular. And it's kind of the same with modeling, in the sense of sometimes someone's degree or ability, like as a photographer, you're like, I need that in my portfolio. Or you might find gaps in your portfolio and you're like, okay, cool, I'm happy to trade my time for prints. TFPs, that's what they're called. And my one thing now as a model is like, obviously I do the whole commercial stuff, but the editorial stuff, the artistic stuff that I do, a lot of that I think of myself. And if someone wants to work with me for nothing, I always say like there has to be a degree of creativity towards it.
So what do you think this editorial is? This like actually just come out of the concept of the shoot?
Which I would do. So there was
did that black and gold thing.
Black gold, and that was my second project that I thought of by myself, and I wanted to get it in at around Black History Month. But the reason why I didn't was just because like editing and the backlog of the photographer, which I entirely understand. He's an amazing photographer, and it just didn't come out as it wanted to. So I didn't get that one published. But the story behind that, obviously the inspirations for that was the whole George Floyd thing. And, I couldn't think of a name. And then it was just like Black Gold. And then obviously, I don't know if you listened to the video or saw it, but it was a narration of like Black excellence. And then I was like, actually, hang on a minute. Like the more I've delved into this is actually just human excellence, like as a whole, regardless of race, regardless of circumstance. Like we all experience things like pain, we all experience things like pleasure, and we all experience episodes of pride. And there's excellence in all of them. If we didn't have those things sometimes in life, we would lack excellence. Sometimes with pain, it's about overcoming it. There's excellence in that. With pride, if you don't have pride in what you do, how can you sometimes excel in stuff? And if you really enjoy what you do, you will excel in it. Like it's just, do you know what I mean? I picked out those 3 points and I was like, there's excellence in these things. But for me to get to that idea, which is what I'm trying to talk about here, is creativity is almost like, it's like buffing a it's like buffing a diamond. Like, you know, when you hear about a diamond in the dirt, like it doesn't come out sparkling. You know, it's really unpolished. It may be uncut. It may not even be cut to what you want it to be. And creativity is all about refining it down to this single point. And I think even when we find our name and stuff, it's going to start as like this massive cloud of like, what the hell?
It's going to be such a pain in the ass.
100%. And then it's just going to form into this little like precise drop from that cloud.
But we're learning as we go on it so much. But we all are in everything that we do, as you say, like everything that we've done so far in our careers outside of the podcasting world. It's all just been a learning curve, like every single thing that I do. And if you're not learning from what you're doing, then what are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
You learn from all your things you do right as well as stuff you do wrong.
Yeah, and I've always said I haven't always said to myself, but something I've been saying to myself recently is a 1% improvement every day is sustainable, and a 1% improvement every day over a year is a 365% improvement. If you're not the same person that you are at the end of the year, like it's not that you're bad or anything like that, but
is that compound percentage? Is that
I guess it'd be like
101% that you is it compound? Or
of course it would be, because like the prior year you would have done that, and the year before you would have done that. And imagine if you're trying to improve yourself by 1% each day, and that's not just in like career, that may be in the relationships that you're having with your friends, your family, your girlfriend. Shout outs to you. You know what I mean? I'm a lone wolf out here. Maybe even your personal development. But I think sometimes what I'm trying to link with these two, I guess, schools of thought is when we look at things like creativity, when people look at it from the outside, not really understanding it, they think that you just arrived at your track, like it just came to you like that, when they don't realize that you may have like compiled all these things together at once and then gone, I can't go any further with that. And then for 5 days you're walking about doing whatever, and then you just rush back to your computer and you're like, yeah, cool, I've got this in my head. And do you know what I mean? That's that 1% improvement. And that may not be every single day. You might do a 20% improvement one day of that track. Let's use a track as like something that we can, I guess, metaphorically talk about here.
Easy example.
Yeah, 20%, and then for 4 days nothing, because there's no inspiration, there's no nothing. You've got other things going on in life. You come back, you're like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got a 5% improvement. I can now add to that. That's 25% finished. Yeah. And it's that process of, I guess, self-improvement, and that creative process it's an accumulation of your efforts, you know, that arrives at this big final product. And I just don't think as a society, especially with the younger lot, you know, we're so we're so focused on the final product all the time that we sometimes forget to enjoy the process of getting there. Yeah. You know, a 100%. a goal isn't a goal. I say this to all my clients, like a goal isn't a goal. It's the person that you become on the way to that goal is way more important. Way more important.
Trust me, like I can't tell you how many times I've been so focused on the fact that I want to put a song out and everyone like it that I actually stopped enjoying making the tunes. And you're never going to make a tune that other people are going to like if you hated making it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
It's mad. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's other people that have had success making a genre that they hated just because they knew it was going to be popular, but I've never found that. I have to enjoy what I'm doing, and then I know other people are going to enjoy listening to it.
For sure.
You can. It's weird with art because it's so subjective with like whether it's music or like imagery, whether it's photography or like a cool photo shoot that you set up, or maybe someone's did a painting or wrote a play, whatever it is.
Yeah. Someone's
going to like it, someone's going to hate it.
Oh, for sure.
And what I was going to say is it's like I think I learn more from the mistakes.
Yeah.
I learn more when I do something and everyone hates it, like, to when I do something and then a few people like it. Like, for example, I'll do like a funny video and loads of people like it. So I do something really similar, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Right? But then I do something really shit and no one likes it, and I'm like, I'd know not to do that again. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I know that's a weird example. No. I think I learn a lot more from mistakes.
It does make sense, but then in saying that, don't you find it so interesting how people, or why people are so scared to make them? Like, if I told you that every time you made a mistake, you could make an improvement from it, perception is very, very important. I love making mistakes because it means that there's something I can better myself in.
Yeah.
I love seeing it within personal.
It's a learning opportunity.
100%. It's not even. Is it a mistake or is it an opportunity to improve?
Yeah.
And it's like if you start to see things as that, you'll become a lot more fearless, and you'll do a lot more because you're like, if it wins big, and if it doesn't win, I get insight on how to make it win. And so a failure is, something that you literally put your hands up to and you're like, okay, I'm no longer trying to improve. I'm no longer trying to learn from that. That's when we truly fail.
Yeah.
Like that's a failure done.
Yeah.
A mistake or like a short loss or a defeat. You know what I mean? You could lose a battle. And I say that, but I haven't lost the war. You know that famous saying, like, you may have won this battle, but you haven't won the war.
Yeah.
And if you start to see just kind of like,
I don't know if it's exactly that word for
yeah,
it.
don't quote me on that, man. Don't quote me on that. If you really care about the quote that much, you're going to find it yourself. Yeah. But okay, villains will say crap like that. You know, I may have lost the battle, but I haven't won.
You watch a little bit too much anime. I think.
It's not even on anime, man.
You may have lost the battle.
But yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is like, once you accept that defeat, like, that's it, done. It's, you have to start consorting, like, how can I learn from this? And I think we're just scared to. It's weird. It's like, why would you be scared to make a mistake if you know you can improve from it?
I think it's because, I'm always going to come back to the musician thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do, and that's the way that I see things. But you just see these people that, the legends, like all these people whose records that I've bought and I look up to or something like that. I'm like, I want to make something like that. And you don't. Now more so than ever that you see through social media. But even with social media, people have the opportunity to show you their work the way that they've like gone through stuff. Maybe stuff, like autobiographies you could read back in the day and learn more about stuff. But you don't really get to see people's like
the teething period.
Yeah. You don't get to see people's thing. And I always think back to. Obviously, I've got the ability now, and everybody has this ability now to just go, I'm just going to put my song out there for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
And I was so desperate to go, I want to release a song and it be as big as all these songs that I really love. Yeah. And everyone to love the song as much as I love making it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of rushed to put it out, and I didn't give myself that teething period to kind of be real with myself and go, you know what, let me listen back to that a few weeks later and go, actually, I don't. It's not as good as I thought it was at the time. Whatever. So you kind of put all these songs out on your SoundCloud or whatever, and then everybody would listen to it, and they go, I ain't listened to one of those fucking shit songs again. And then you slowly, like, the people, less and less people want to give you a chance to listen to it. But anyway, that's a mistake that I've learned from. Is just don't go, I'm just finished it, I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
Because
it's a mark of your quality at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone listens to that and they're like, wow, the amount of time, attention, blah blah blah, and your average listener isn't like that. They're like, oh, it's sick or it's not sick, and yeah, it is what it is. But like, the longer you spend on your quality, people will appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They will appreciate that. Yeah. It is heard, and I think that just comes with maturing, though. Surely, we are in a rush to always be heard, and I think with these guys here, like, you've got to think sometimes they sit on some of their tracks for ages before they release them. Yeah. And
I think you got this naivety as a musician, for example, like, you go, I'm going to put it up on SoundCloud, and then a record executive is going to hear it, and he's going to give me £1 million contract. Yeah. And I don't even know what happens when you sign a contract and you have to pay it back. No, I'm going to be a millionaire. Yeah. And I'm going to be great, and everyone's going to love me, and I'm going to be on top of the pops in the next few weeks. Like, that's does
that even exist anymore?
Yeah, if it doesn't, they should bring it back. Maybe that probably went down after the Jimmy Savile expose.
Maybe.
All of that dodgy shite happening behind the scenes there. But anyway, that was the pinnacle at one point, isn't it?
Yeah, no, top of the pops was
where you wanted to be.
Top of the pops was. But that was definitely. Was that even kicking around when we were young? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. S Club 7 were on that. I used to love S Club 7.
Yeah, I can remember seeing...
S Club, what a tune,
I can remember seeing quite a lot of funny things on Top of the Pops where they'd get like a garage song come on, so they've obviously just sampled the vocal from something else or something like that, so they've got someone there like miming the vocal, and the guy's like pretending to DJ, or like, I don't know, it's just so it's so cringy.
Some of the dancing on Top of the Pops killed me, like absolutely killed me.
It was so cringy.
Oh my god.
But, I just wanted to be on top of the pops in it, and I think I rushed to it. Yeah, I didn't read autobiographies when I was a kid or when I started making music, so you didn't have that opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it just shows you just how important perspectives of our idols are. I think, sometimes we look at our idols and we look at like the bodies of work that they do or whatever they do, and we're like, to us, that's almost like a mentor in a way. So we have this kind of like halo and horns effect, and when they've got the halo, it's like they can't really do much wrong.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's actually quite important to learn the human side of your mentors, because then you're like, oh, okay, cool, like they too have teething periods, they too make mistakes, and then you're like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm not nailing this process right from the beginning, because even the people who I look up to and are in positions or have been held to an esteem that I want to be held to, everyone went through it. Everyone's gone through it.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone's made these mistakes. Everyone's made, not everyone, but you know what I mean, like people who are relative to your area of focus have made those similar mistakes. So
I think we're in that weird age where, as I was saying, like people do have the opportunity to share these things with people, and actually help people grow. But maybe it just comes back to me being the musician thing again, and rap being such a big thing now in music. Yeah, you got this ego thing around rappers and stuff like that. I'm the best. You don't see any rappers going on about, I've just been to the studio, made some songs, and listened to it the next day, and they're all shit, so I had to delete them. They're just like, no, I've been making the best songs.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh man, this is fine here, eh?
Yeah,
they've got the grills on,
they're doing all the watch things and flexing.
It's fine here, baby.
I
think it's time for a fire drop. It's a fire release, baby. Come on, let's go.
I got 5 Rolexes on, all of them got the jewels on.
Yeah, I seen it, man. I seen it. I get you on that. I think humility right now isn't paying. Do you know what I mean? It isn't. It literally is.
I'd like to be that person that if I'm gonna be an idol, if I'm gonna be idolized by someone, I want it to be for the fact that I'm just a real person. Yeah. And then they can look up to me in maybe it's the music thing that might get successful for me, or this amazing podcast. But whatever it is, I don't want them to think that like the sun shines out my ass. For sure. Like if there's an opportunity for me to share my mistakes with other people, or just the difficulties that I've gone through and something like that. Yeah. No, like, I want to set a good example for people, and not make people feel bad about themselves by like having like a perfect chiseled jawline. Like like if I was I could go and get a hair transplant. I could get some injections into my face to make me look more handsome. But how's that going to make all those other ugly cunts feel? Oh shit! I just said it. I said the word. But do you know what I'm saying? I'd like to be an inspiration for people that you don't like. You can look like that and still make it somewhere.
Yeah, hey, TNT. Hey. When you have like a really, really good point and you always lose it.
Yeah, it's because I'm sat here always talking it.
No, it's fine. It was fine. It was actually something in line with kind of like jokes and stuff like that. Mate, I've lost it.
Well, we'll edit this. You know what I'm saying? When we make the clever edits, people won't even notice because I'll just do something cool, and then all of a sudden it goes, bing,
bing, bing bong.
Yeah, bing bong.
Oh, mate, no, I've lost it.
Well, okay, so we were talking about people. Maybe you're not being able to see things from their point of view. So whereas you might see,
I've got it. I've got it. So
clever edit, bang,
clever edit, boom, 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 boom. I'm back in the room, about to hit you with a tune. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's go. So I just think as well, like coming off of that point, like we're human, so we do make mistakes, and I think from mistakes it allows us the opportunity to then explore, like, oh, hang on a minute, how did we go wrong there, and how can we revise that? And I think with things like we said about our parents' era, and how society has evolved, and it's like racist jokes and things that are kind of like race driven aren't tolerated. Do you know what I mean? They're just not as tolerated at all. And it's that whole thing of we had to, I guess, make mistakes, or we had to kind of have that period of ignorance, to then be smarter. It's like evolution comes. What does evolution come? Like, why does it happen? You have a problem, you then have to adapt to it. You then solve it. And without these, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, without these blips, would we have these conversations which then lead us to a better approach? And is that approach always better? Because what's your idea? What's your kind of opinion on the whole cancelling people.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thing on that? Because I think it could be quite harmful.
I think I mean, like, you can take a few examples. I'm trying to think of the best one to talk about, but just as a general thing, I don't agree with it. For example, as you're just saying, we could go, cancel Chris Rock.
Yeah.
He's said something that, I completely see from this point of view that this guy has maybe said something about someone's illness or something that's going on with alopecia or something similar to that, and you can go, that's really upset me. But if you're going to cancel someone, maybe this is a better example, right? If someone is racist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you go, right, that guy said something ignorant or racist, and you get him fired from his job because that could happen. Say, do you think that guy's that's gonna change his opinion, or is he you're just pushing him back into only through a conversation?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to help that guy understand why what he's saying is wrong?
For sure.
And I think, so maybe it could be anything. So they could be against gay marriage, and then a load of gay people obviously disagree with that. A load of people can disagree with that, but he's going to go, these gay people have just got me fired because I've had an opinion on something, and then now he's lost his job and his life's fucked. He is never going to change his opinion then.
For sure, he'll be resentful.
I'm not blaming that on him.
No, of course.
I'm just saying you can't fix a problem by just.
No, I get you.
Something like
I
that.
get you, and I guess obviously the counter argument to that would be that sometimes people don't want to see a problem fixed. They just want to feel as if someone is like reprimanded for it.
Well, exactly. But he should be reprimanded for it. If you've come out and said something bad, I get that. No matter what it is, if you've made a joke though as a comedian, I don't think it's different to you maybe just being a politician that's just said something racist or tried to put through a bill to stop people from having the right to get married when they're gay or something like that. I think that's a completely different thing. But there's definitely, punching somebody in the face for making a joke is not the way to go about it, or cancelling someone is not. I don't know. I can't say that I know the right answer, but this is a point that I've heard somebody else say.
This isn't the right answer.
Yeah.
It's all about your opinion, and at the end of the day, it's how you feel on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, the only time it's fact is when we actually have figures and numbers.
I'll probably feel different when someone says something that actually involves me. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, cancel it, get him away, fire him. That's it, kill him. I'm assuming it's a bloke that said it, by the way, as well, because it usually is. But you know what I'm saying?
No, I get you, bro. I get you, because I think I'm very like two ways about the cancelling movement, because I definitely think if we don't have something like that, then we see things like your Weinsteins and we see things like your Savills, where people have been kind of treading on this whole path of like invulnerability.
That's a whole nother kettle of fish, though, isn't it? Someone that's just got way too much power
100%,
and abuses it in a different way.
But then if we were to find out that these people were doing that in this, obviously Weinstein is cancelled, he just is. But if that was to happen now and that was to get out, instant cancel, instant. And I think too much of anything is bad. Not enough of anything is also bad. There's obviously two extremes, and at some point we have to again hit this blip, adapt to this blip, and find the middle line where it's like we can't just cancel everything. We can't. That's ridiculous.
Every scenario is different. Let's just put it this way: like, you can't go, okay, so Will Smith slapped a guy because he was upset about his wife, cancel him. Chris Rock said something that was offensive to a group of people, cancel him. You at the end of the day, so for that thing, he's a comedian, he's made a joke on stage, you tell him not to make those kind of jokes before, and he should learn from that and say maybe you don't joke about something that's like a physical disability or something like that. But there's probably loads of people that had alopecia that did laugh.
Yeah, probably. And
because it wasn't directed at them, so
it's the threshold, mate.
It's actually just don't make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith because she can't take a joke. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, of course, and it is that. It's so difficult, and even just from this conversation, it's so difficult to get it right. And even when you get it right, you're going to be wrong in someone's eyes.
Yeah.
So it's easy to understand why people rush to, I guess, cancel. Like, something bad's happened, cancel, because that person needs to feel the repercussions of what they've done. But at the same time, like I said, if we cancel everything, and we're all big on like freedom of speech and all these kind of things. It's like, where do we draw the line, and who is the person who moderates all of this? Because then if these people who moderate all of this stuff, are they then affected by, I guess, this whole cancel thing again? Because how can you cancel the cancelers? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it gets like that. I think that's that whole conversation about, you know, like executions and stuff. It's like there's that whole morality thing of what makes this person, what makes this person qualified, or what makes this person right in taking this person's life. So it's such a difficult conversation with so many depths, and I don't think there is a right answer. I genuinely don't. I know that I
don't think there's definitely not a one size fits all blanket answer for.
There can't be, because one size never fits all. Like ever.
It's a bit of a deep one.
It is.
But yeah, let's just put it this way. I think if you're an entertainer, I think you've got a bit of leeway for being on stage and saying something. But, you know, when you're backstage and you're molesting someone or taking advantage of someone, that's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's more difficult to say when somebody's doing it out of entertainment, for entertainment value.
For sure.
But yeah, there's many situations that we could go on and on about, but maybe this is going to get blocked from YouTube if we go into too much detail. But you know what I mean? I
think that's a perfect park point.
Yeah.
And this is where you kind of edit in like a parking noise, like, and that's our outro.
Yeah.
We got tangents and trivia. We got tangents. Naim and Sammy be on TNT.